Hello everybody, this is Kaimar, and today we're going through an article. Okay, this is written by Britanny Venti. If you don't know, she's an e-girl. I guess she's like a right-wing, like one of these based e-girls. Pretty much just a grifter, at least in my opinion. I'm not very familiar, but she has been active for a long time. Most famously, she did blackface. Okay, that's basically her claim to fame. And she's got this article here, Anime Ruined an Entire Generation of Men. I love anime too, but we are not the same. And this shit is so retarded, okay? This is on Substack. And maybe this is just me, but I kind of expect like a, you know, like a fairly high-ish level of quality from Substack. Because whenever people are talking about their Substack, it's always like, go to my Substack, I got this new article. It's always something like, oh, the history of Jews in Napoleonic France, or, you know, the story of Rhodesia and how it relates to the modern West. You know, it's always something like, you know, a little more highbrow, right? But here she has this article which is terribly written, and keep in mind, there isn't even like a thesis statement or anything. She doesn't even prove anything. She just bitches about, like, guys she doesn't like and Evangelion, and then she just ends it, okay? But, you know, let's read through this. It's pretty fucking bad, but... So, sexual vulgarity seems to be half of the engagement. Also, this is only of 92 likes. That's insane. She has 200,000 subs, by the way, and she gets 92 likes on her Substack article, but sexual vulgarity seems to be half of the engagement on this platform. I want to talk about the vulgarity culture as a new writer on this site. Writer in quotation marks, because holy shit. Do not quit the YouTube gig, okay? I think the sex talk is an overindulgence in degeneracy while giving the illusion of aristocracy, aka poser. You know, that's kind of an interesting question to bring up because I feel like the aristocracy historically has been pretty degenerate. You know, like, for example, it's pretty common for, like, you know, aristocratic men to have, like, you know, sometimes even just, like, straight-up harems or concubines, or when that's not allowed, like, you know, mistresses or whatever, and it's a cop-out for interesting writing. I define interesting in this context as either a niche topic or a unique take on any topic. I'm not expecting perfection, but I am expecting some goddamn effort. This is so bad. And she does, like, the bolding random shit like what Trump does. You know how Trump in his tweets will, like, capitalize random stuff? She's doing that. But I do want to address it. I only recently became active on Substack, and yes, I am new around here. My medium is YouTube. By the way, I'll try not to go, like, full English teacher, but she makes a lot of mistakes here. Like, punctuation is a massive one. Like, here, she misspells YouTube. Over a decade, yeah. Since the original... Oh my fucking god. Over a decade since the original internet. Bitch, you weren't fucking there with... Look, I would not consider the original internet to be like 2015 when this chick started. Okay? Like, the original internet would be like would be like, I guess, the 90s technically. It depends how you would define it, but it sure as fuck ain't 2015, bro. I'm noticing a theme, and it's that half this site is people. Also, she does, like, these titles. Like, this is not like a section title. I'm noticing a theme, and it's that half this site is people talking about some whore they fucked in a harsh way. In the same manner that I'm writing in right now. Here's an excerpt. So, I mean, is this like a Substack issue? I'll say this much, okay? I don't know if Substack has, like, an algorithm or not, but a lot of websites... You know, people will have their perspective on, say, like a fandom or a community colored by the algorithm that they use, right? You know, like Blue Archive is a good example. So you'll have people, you know, you'll have like lolicon BA fans, and they're like, oh, but Blue Archive is completely lolly game, nothing but lollies. And then you'll have someone who's completely opposite. They're like, Blue Archive just has like a few lolly characters, okay? All the big ones aren't lollies. And the reason why they could have different perspectives is because, you know, the lolicon versus the non-lolicon. The lolicon is always interacting with and liking lolly pictures, you know, while the non-lolicon is, you know, interacting, liking with other stuff. So they get a different perspective on what the total fandom is into. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, though, so this is... I didn't even read this because I don't care. I guess this guy got picked up by, like, a gaijin hunter in Japan or something. I mean, who gives a fuck, right? This was just a snippet. Fuck. It's trying to give American Psycho, but instead it's giving erotic fanfiction with zero You know, Britanny Venti literally is like a 30-year-old woman, and she's talking like she's like a 22-year-old Starbucks barista. I mean, that's just embarrassing. The worst part about this is that these people think they're unique. I've been on this site 3 whole seconds, and I've already seen a bunch of guys who write as like pathetic guy who can't get pussy but pretend they will choke mid-tier whore. She's a whore because she is pity fucking them out. Because they're like so angry and bitchless, yawn. They all think they're Patrick Bateman or Shinji from Evangelion. See, this is the weird thing, okay? So she's talking about like the whole sensitive young man thing, okay? Which is already like a very small percentage of like the online community. And honestly, I feel like the sensitive young man meme is kind of dead. Like, when was that even popular? Like a year or 2 ago? And same thing with, like, the American Psycho thing, right? But I'll say this much, who the fuck actually identifies with Shinji from Evangelion? Keep in mind, okay, she's trying to extend this criticism to the entire anime community. Anime fans, by and large, like, don't self-insert as Shinji or idolize him like that, okay? Maybe they relate to him or they find him interesting. A lot just don't even like him, right? In fact, if you look at Evangelion memes, most of them make Shinji, like, the butt of the joke. But anyways, so I don't even know what she's talking about here. Like, I think she mentioned somewhere, like, Shinji profile pictures. Who the hell even has a Shinji profile picture? But anyways, if you don't watch anime, good for you. Me, who grew up... Also, I'll say this much, she doesn't actually really know how to use dashes. Although, actually, there's a better one down here, but yeah, she doesn't even know how to use fucking dashes. But if you don't watch anime, good for you. Apparently this is the weird thing, she's like, I'm an anime fan, but if you don't watch anime, that's good for you. You know, so it's like, she's kind of like subtly like attacking it here. And this is how she describes Evangelion, okay? It's this teen boy who has this harem of girls during a war against what they refer to as angels. Interesting how she doesn't call them aliens, which would make more sense. They fight in big mech robots that synchronize with the pilots. Wait, okay, nice one. Cue the he's literally me. Alright, so first off, I mean, calling Evangelion a harem is pretty ridiculous. I mean, look, there's like a love triangle with Shinji and then Rei and Asuka. Although Rei gets kind of sidelined pretty hard in that regard, in my opinion. And I guess you could include Misato, but I mean, it's definitely not a harem though, okay? And then here we go. If I see someone with a Shinji profile pic, which, by the way, does this even exist? I feel like the entire reason why she wrote this article is because a guy with a Shinji profile picture, like, felted her. Okay, just totally roasted her, and now she's just seething. Okay? It's like screaming you have boy PD, BPD for boys. Is that even a real thing? I've got doubts. Well, the thing is that BPD isn't even a real mental illness, okay? BPD is just being a crazy bitch. And because we're living in, like, the modern world, women just can't be crazy bitches, you know? We gotta, like, pathologize everything, you know? It's like Hello Kitty obsessed girl, but way worse because it's some neurotic, useless soft boy who is a very online faggot branding himself as the sensitive young male. What the hell? Yeah, this is the whole thing. Like, even if we assume that this archetype is real, like, how many of these guys even exist? Like, enough to write an entire article about it? Like, okay, sensitive young man who has BPD and idolizes Shinji from Evangelion. I mean, the Venn diagram's gotta be pretty small there. The protagonist, Shinji, yeah, here's what I'm talking about. When you use a dash, you're not supposed to have a space before the dash. Wait, and also... She also forgot the closing. First off, you shouldn't even probably use a dash here. Second, she doesn't even have a closing dash. Like, what the fuck? You couldn't get even you couldn't even, like, you know, proofread this yourself. So Shinji, despite being a pathetic loser, look, I wouldn't really say that. Look, the thing is that Shinji is a pussy. But the thing about Shinji that people forget is that he actually is a very good Eva pilot, which is how he, you know, gets respect at all, right? Has options of a redhead German girl, a mid-20s pedophilic cougar, or a girl that reminds me of his dead mom despite being a blank canvas. So, this is another thing that's interesting. I guess she doesn't like Evangelion. She's all like, I love 90s and 2000s anime. But now she's just slandering Evangelion. And also, very interesting how the one character she doesn't slander is Asuka. Alright? Because keep in mind, she's shitting on these boy PD guys or whatever for being mentally ill or psychos or whatever. Keep in mind, the most unhinged character out of all 4 of these is easily Asuka, okay? Like, no question. Asuka's screwed. Also, Misato isn't a pedophile, okay? She's not interested in Shinji in that way, and also, she has a GIF, but the GIF isn't even animated. Like, is this... like, come on. Like, the reason why Misato kissed Shinji in that scene, okay, but it wasn't because she was attracted to him or she wanted to bang him, okay? So, and then also calling Rei just like a blank canvas. I mean, come on. It is iconic with cool imagery, but I'm not going to sweep the truth about it under the rug. The ironic thing is that she did sweep the truth about it under the rug and then replaced it with just slander. They seem to be focused on emulating what are arguably the worst aspects of the show, or at best they use a little bit of the aesthetic and design for branding. This 90s anime is still talked about today. See, this is kind of what I mean why it's, like, really badly animated. So she's talking about how it's so badly, like, written and structured. So she's talking here about, like, the guys, you know, the boy PD guys, okay? And then she just makes this massive leap with no segue to, like, a general statement about the anime community. Like, come on, it makes no sense. And also, did she censor this? Did she censor that herself? That would be insane. I think she did. That's crazy. It's so edgy and overdone, I have anime fatigue now, as well as the sensitive young man who calls women foids every other tweet. Yeah, this is what she really has an issue with, okay? Britanny Venti is salty because she is a foid, okay? She's 30-year-old, empty egg carton, no husband in sight, no children, okay? So now she has to go on the internet and bitch about the only guys in all of society who will actually call out whores, okay? And look, and I'm sure in her mind, she's lumping in basically like every, you know, sexist guy into this category. Anyways, a lot of people on Twitter clearly bled over here and are bringing their sick, perverted minds with them. Also, she just used a hyphen instead of an actual dash and still is doing the space thing. And also didn't even, whatever, where they cannot get over themselves. You can be part of a culture and like certain aspects of it and also be critical of others. It's called not being a slave. And here she is just being like a total anime tourist here. I like Evangelion. So she does say she likes Evangelion, even though she's completely shitting on the series and misrepresenting it. I like 90s and early 2000s anime. You know, remember this. I base some of my aesthetics off Japanese fashion, but we are not the same. I don't watch anime to come. Now this part is interesting, because she's like, I like 90s and early 2000s anime. I don't watch anime to come. Alright, actually, let's continue a bit more. While I get why they're big Evangelion, these people are why modern anime is shallow. It caters to them. Huh? So you're saying modern anime caters to like a very tiny percentage of sexist men on English-speaking social media? Excuse me? I loved older anime, don't really like the current culture or fans. It's also uglier and rounder, by the way. I don't know, I feel like this is kind of cherry picking. Look, I mean, it's fine if you don't like, if you know, prefer a specific decade's style over another, right? But My Hero Academia in general just has like ugly art, in my opinion, and it is just pretty round. I am grieving. But anyways, here it is. She says, I don't watch anime to come. So she's kind of implying that like, oh, the fan service in anime now is out of control. There was way more fan service in anime before than there is now, okay? Like, if we're talking about, like, the golden age of fan service, it was, like, early 2000s to like 2015 probably. Okay? In fact, like the 2020s has been like a fan service desert. You know, other than like a couple like holdout shows, there's been very little. Like especially if you're looking at more mainstream stuff, they normally nuke the fan service. You know? So here she's just being like completely uninformed. Like, come on. Anyways, I miss my Larme K magazines. I miss old anime and it being appreciated for the plot, vibe, and music instead of angsty, sad, loser, larpy, effeminate internet guy. What the fuck? Wanting to ejaculate all over? See, this is the crazy thing. Okay, like, I wish anime was all about pleasing the angsty, sad, loser, larpy, effeminate internet guys. Because these days, it's basically all about pleasing the normies, which is how fan service is basically gone anyway. Because, like I said, she's just completely uninformed about this. All over what was once an art. Bruh. And that's it! That's it! That's it, that's the whole article. This is what I mean. She doesn't even substantiate her point at all. She's like, anime ruined an entire generation of men. That's what the article is called. So she doesn't actually say, like, how anime has changed, really. I mean, she implies that there's more fan service or whatever, except that's just completely wrong, and she also doesn't substantiate that point at all. She mentions the art style. Wait. She mentions the art style. Alright. Which, I mean, that's, like, personal preference, so I guess I'll give it a pass. And then she's like, I miss when anime was all about the plot. And it's like, fuck. This is what I mean. I mean, is this just rage bait? Maybe it is. Who knows? Any funny comments? Who fucking knows, bro? It's probably all fucking boring. There's only... But yeah, though. Britanny Venti also in the past has, like, bitched out at VTubers. Like, she just recently made one targeting Shondo, Fallen Shadow it looks like, which is interesting. But yeah, honestly, it's honestly kind of shocking how bad this is. How does Britanny Venti still even have a career? I guess maybe, I guess her videos are maybe better, but it's like... This is kind of what I mean. I mean, like I said, if you just want to make your Substack your own personal blog, I mean, go ahead, I guess. But I mean, this is just genuinely awful. Okay, like beyond even just disagreeing, it's almost difficult to even disagree because she doesn't even have like an actual statement, you know? Like there's no thesis statement. Like what's the point of this? Because she doesn't say, she's like, anime ruined an entire generation of men. I guess that's, and also she's got like two completely different things here. Like, her whole intro is about, like, the culture of Substack, and then she transitions into anime as Substack. Is anime, like, super popular on Substack or something? And also, the one anime she does talk about is Evangelion. And she greatly mischaracterizes Evangelion, too. So, yeah. It's just crazy. But yeah, though, that's about it for me. Yeah, comment down below your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more content in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.